Can you believe? Would you believe it if I told you this game came out 15 years ago? The original.
15 years ago? Holy shit.
2008.
I remember.
Yeah.
I think I told you about this, but I remember like reading about it in Game Informer and just being super stoked for it.
Mm-hmm. I think at that point I wasn't getting the physical Game Informer anymore. But yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that one. I don't remember what time of year it came out, so it might be a little under 15 years, but it's still 2008.
2008, yeah.
Jeez. And the first thing, I think I actually mentioned this to you, was that the first thing I did after beating the game was boot up the original on Steam, because I was thinking, I mean, yeah, this is really great. This is a great game, but it didn't really need to be remade. The first one was just, you know, it was pretty too. And I booted it up and I just started laughing, cracking up.
What's the difference, right?
Yes.
It's huge. It's huge.
I started cracking up because I couldn't believe that my mind just put those HD rose-colored glasses on it. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad-looking game, but I mean, the difference between the original and this one, my mind wasn't, when I was playing the new one, I was just like, yeah, I recognize this. This is exactly how I played it in 2008 when this game came out.
Yeah. I remember the original, like, they used like a filter, especially like when you're in space, and like it kind of blurred things, and I was like, okay, I mean, that's cool. But like now everything is super clear. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I don't remember this being this clear.
Yeah, I don't recall the filter exactly, but I do know that when you do that one part where you're supposed to put the beacon on the asteroid and shoot it out, when I went out into space, I was like, I have no idea where to go. This all looks like playable area.
Yeah, I got a warning to go back to the little asteroid piece, because I was like, oh, you're going too far. I was like, let's just see how far I can go.
Danger, Isaac Clarke, danger.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are obviously a lot of. I actually kind of felt bad that I knew the original so well that I knew where the blunders would happen. So, like with the asteroid bit, those two semicircular arm things that surround the asteroid, that in the original, of course, I got creamed by those, but in this one, I didn't get hit, and I almost felt bad. I was like, oh, maybe I should do it on purpose so I can see the death animation.
That's exactly what I did.
Oh, you did?
I died on purpose a few times just so I could see the death animations, because I knew the original had like all those custom death animations.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's just see what it looks like in HD. So I definitely torched like my run a couple times, just like dying over and over again.
I don't think I actually died on purpose. I can't remember a time where I would have died on purpose, but I did. All my deaths were kind of my fault.
Yes.
And actually going back and thinking about it, I wish I would have started on hard, because that forewarned is forearmed kind of mentality.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, like Resident Evil 2, that wouldn't have worked. Starting on hardcore mode would have mullered you. Yeah, after playing through, I was like, I think I only died like 3 times. And that felt absurd to me, because Dead Space was the game that you can get destroyed in 150 unique ways, and I only got to see maybe 2 of them, because I'm pretty sure I just got overwhelmed a couple times forgetting how to do the thing, like panicking and shooting poorly.
Same. So my run, like I felt like I should have started on hard as well, only because like I knew everything, so I was just running through everywhere, and like I immediately just like full on maxed out the plasma cutter. I was like, everything else can go to hell. It's plasma cutter or bust, right?
Yep. Yeah,
And,
that's exactly how I did it.
You just load up your rig. You just load up your plasma cutter first. Once you max that out, you give yourself health, right? That's it.
Yeah, the critical rig path, the critical upgrade path on the rig for all the HP upgrades.
Yeah, exactly. So like I kind of cheated myself, so I guess I should have started on hard. But honestly, like through and through, 10 out of 10. This did not need to get made by any measure. But
Glad
I'm
it
glad
did.
it did. Yeah, I'm like, dude, like just Give the whole series a reboot, you cowards. Give me Extraction. I want to play Extraction in VR.
Oh, how cool would that be? With PSVR 2 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be great. Extraction, I only played it on the Wii. It only came out on the Wii, right?
Yeah, I think so. No, it was also on PS3. It also came out on PS3.
Oh, I wish I would have played it there. The Wii one sucked.
Because I think if you bought a certain collector's edition or something, I forget what, but it came with Extraction, or I think they bundled it separately later on. I can't remember exactly, but it did come out on PS3. But I played it on the Wii for sure as well.
That was the first Wii game I ever played, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, some of my friends got a Wii for Christmas, and they immediately bought Extraction for it. And we were playing it, and man, it was janky. But on the Wii, it wasn't great. You think it might have just gotten ported digitally later on?
I think so. Oh, full version of Extraction is included on the one disc along with Dead Space 2 limited edition. Yeah, that's it. So you might have it. You might have it.
I don't have it on PS3 though.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because I bought Dead Space 2. I bought them all on PS3.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I had them all on 360, but you know what? They might actually still be on disc in my storage unit, but I've migrated pretty much fully digital on Steam.
So Mercer is different in this.
Mercer's a lot different.
He's very different, and I liked him. I hated him way more.
Yeah,
which was a good thing.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a different style of interacting with you, like a little bit more up close and personal, in a really unnerving way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mercer was a lot different. There's so much fleshed out story. The side missions, I loved the addition of the side missions.
I agree. And the fact that you can go back and forth and back, because before there was just it was very limited as to what you can go back to.
Right, yeah.
And this one you could explore the whole thing back and forth up to a certain point, obviously, where like you can't come back, so you go do everything that you've been wanting to do.
Right, yeah. There was a lot of scripted backtracking in the original. Like you'd go back and suddenly, I think it was specifically Chapter 8 that rings a bell for me in the original, where you'd go back and basically traverse this entire area that you were before. But all the lockers would suddenly not be red anymore. They'd be blue, so you could open them for no explicit reason. And I loved the access level edition that actually explains that now. You know, you walk up to like access level 2, access level 3. It's like, oh, okay, so this is now tied to progression in the story. Not just the fact that I come back to this area and for some reason all the lockers are open now.
Yeah, and the fact that you have to like sort of collect them all for the rigs, and then like kind of combine them at the at the bridge,
the captain's nest or something.
Yeah. The hell, yeah.
That was so the regular levels, level 1, level 2, level 3. Those are story beats, but that master level is what you're talking about, where you have to go around and find, well, I think 5 or 6 rigs of certain people so you can mishmash together an access level and unlock all these crates and doors that you've been passing up this entire time. And I honestly thought I was going to get cut off story-wise a lot earlier than that. I was like, I must have missed these rigs or something. It was relatively early, and it was like you can't go back to. It was a place that you've been, and the side mission for the master access level said you can't go. There's no path there now, or something like that. And I was like, shoot, I missed my chance. But then, you know, stuff opens up and you can go everywhere. The entire Ishimura is open to you by the time you're ready to move away from the Ishimura.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, it's a funny feeling when you're like, okay, everything's time sensitive and all this stuff, but then you're just like, well, hold on, I want to go back to this one place that's way far away and float around in 0G and try and find this thing. And Daniel's is like, Isaac, you gotta hurry. Like, yeah, but just wait a minute. So tonally it was a little weird, but I mean, it's like RE4. You're searching for the president's daughter, but you can also go F off in the castle as much as you want, backtrack all that way to get the broken butterfly.
So my playthrough was right under 15 hours, so 14 hours and 58 minutes. Because
really,
I spent the whole time just like going back and forth and taking everything in. Even though I was like running through everything, which feels weird because I was like, that's pretty long considering I've beat this pretty quickly before. But I don't know. I guess it was worth it. I enjoyed every minute of it.
There is a lot more to it though. Like with the side quests, that adds at least a couple hours on top of a playthrough for if you're doing like a full run. You want to get everything. Because those side missions have you running all over the place. Places you've cleared already, places you're going to go back to eventually, but you don't know that. So you go back anyway, and then you end up going back later. My playthrough was 12 hours and 4 minutes on the nose. And the only thing I missed was an upgrade for the Force Gun. And I have no idea. I honestly have no idea where I would have missed it, because I swear I went back and got all the level doors and the master level doors, all the crates. I bought all the weapon upgrades in the store just to have them because you get a power node with them anyway. Yeah, so I don't know where I missed that.
Yeah, I missed a couple here and there because I was like, I'm going to go back in and just like buy everything and just max everything out and then just go from there. But because I platinumed or like 100%ed the first one.
Yeah.
The original.
Whoop-de-doo.
And then like, big deal. God damn, the turret mode, the turret portion pissed me off so bad. It was just, that was one thing that was like, I was super glad to see not come back.
Okay, yeah, no, I know. Okay, I thought you meant in this one. I was like, really? But
the turret mode in this one, like, oh my god, way better. Way better.
Yeah, they definitely listened to the fans on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, they're going down the ADS route. What are they gonna do? And then they told you what to do with it. Oh, that's a lot better.
For a while, I was shooting them with the plasma cutter. I was like, "Oh, this is not working. What's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, press X." Oh. Of course,
I didn't know. I thought I was just supposed to hover on them or something. I didn't know. It was kind of confusing, but yeah, that's one of the. I mean, I don't. That was probably the one thing people complained about most about the original Dead Space was we hate that ADS cannon section. But
yeah.
I noticed a lot of things that, well, for one, instead of going from point to point in 0G, you now have the free float like you did in those scripted moments in 2 and in 3. There were a couple little things that, as I noticed them, I just became so appreciative of them. Like the fact that when you're boosting in 0G and you land, you don't have to click the stick again to sprint. You're already sprinting.
Yeah. I mapped R1 for running, and like that. Oh my god, it's such a good change. Such a good change.
I didn't know I could do that, so it took me the entirety of chapter 1 to get used to clicking in the left stick to sprint rather than just holding L1.
If there's something I hate more, oh my god, I mega loathe is clicking sticks. I don't know why. don't like it. I hate it. I'd rather have paddles to do those actions, you know, than like having, because for me it just feels like forever to like tell my thumb to like, okay, click down on the stick. But like, I don't know, it's a personal problem. I hate it.
I'm not a big fan either. I think because I just got this PS5 and you've had yours for a while, so maybe my click tactile feedback just feels better because it didn't bother me that much. But if I was like on a worn Xbox 360 controller like back in the day, that would have been no good. Like, no, I have to be able to, especially when you have to change directions, because, you know, sprinting is back in the original, it was an on or off. It was hold to sprint, let go to not sprint. So now you're activating it with a button. So yeah, if you're like, I want to sprint backwards, that's not usually how games work. You sprint forwards when you're clicking in a stick. So yeah, it took me a while to get used to that, but eventually I did. I didn't know about the remap. If I did, I totally would have done that.
That's one thing I always do when I pick up a new video game, is I look if I can remap, because I look to see like, all right, do I have to click L3 or R3? If I do, I remap those immediately.
But so what if you remapped? You said you remapped R1?
Yeah, because R1 was dead. Like it didn't have anything on it initially.
Oh well, yeah, that's your melee though, right? That's your punch.
Sorry. L1.
Oh, okay.
My bad.
What does L1 do?
L1 doesn't do shit, and I was like, okay, cool. I'll put run on L1. Yeah.
Why wasn't it that way to begin with?
I don't know. It's weird. But I mean, it's whatever.
Speaking of the fully upgraded plasma cutter, what about that knockback perk, like special 3 or whatever?
The knockback and the flame. It like, you know, damage over time.
Yeah.
Awesome. What was the third one?
I think it was capacity. Maybe, or maybe it was just a boost to damage. I don't know, but like the incendiary plasma cutter shots was great because I loved never having to stomp on anything ever again, because it would just burn and then the thing would go right out of it.
The little babies or whatever,
yeah,
they were just kind of like
lurkers.
Run off, die off, and like.
Yeah, so you just like down them, they'd flop down, you start running towards them, and then like a small health thing goes right out the top.
Yeah.
So funny. Never had to stomp anything again. I think that was the first, that was like special 1 too. Like that wasn't, I got that pretty early on.
Yeah, that was like the first one, I think.
Yeah, special number 1, like first in the tree. Oh man, plasma cutter. I didn't go fully one gun because I had the plasma cutter upgraded fully at a somewhat alarming rate. Like,
oh, it's weighted blade, so if you melee with the plasma cutter, it's a hefty hit. That's so special 1 was the flames, the weighted blades was the, I think, 2, and then I can't remember what 3 was, or maybe weighted blades was 3. But it says there's a chance the enemies will go prone, and I don't know if it's less of a chance on harder difficulties, but I swear every time I punched something, it went flying on its back. Yeah, I was a big fan of that. Plasma cutter, just, I thought they were gonna nerf it. I thought they were gonna be like, no, look at all these other cool weapons we got for you. Like, no, hell yeah, you know the one true
weapon.
Like, let's just go all the way.
The one true weapon, the good weapon. I didn't go full one gun though. I wanted to try everything. Honestly, the only thing I didn't upgrade to a decent point was the force gun. I've never liked the force gun. I think the force gun sucks.
Yeah, it's the one I like the least. But I should have, like, there's a trophy associated with like killing 30 enemies or whatever with every single weapon.
Right.
Because immediately I was like, everything else is gonna go in the inventory because I don't want to get like random ass like ammo or something that I'm not using. So like I just put everything away immediately and just kept the plasma cutter and the line gun, and that's it.
Really? You went full tilt on the line gun. See, I'm a Ripper guy. I was in the original too. I fully upgraded after I got the plasma cutter and some decent rig upgrades. I went after the Ripper post haste. I love the Ripper. It's like, I don't know, it just feels good, especially when you hit mining. Like the mining area in the original and the mining area in this one, you start getting a little bit more mobbed than like the onesie twosie kind of attack patterns that you're used to. And I just like the Ripper because I can aim it at one guy, which holds him back, and I just move it up and down, up and down, up and down, hitting the limbs on the top and the bottom. And then if someone else comes up on the other side, just kind of turn the camera a little bit and the Ripper starts going on him. Funny thing about the Ripper in this one, though, I don't think it did this originally, but the special upgrades for alternate fire are ricochets. So
yeah.
When you fire it, it'll ricochet, and then it's got a decent chance, like a 70% chance of bouncing off the wall that it just hit after going through an enemy and then kind of bouncing back into the enemy. But the thing is, I noticed really quick after I got 3 ricochets on this thing, it'll hit you too and take your health.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It took me a while to realize exactly what was happening because I usually only use the secondary fire on the Ripper when things are really intense. But, oh yeah, those Ripper blades will bounce right back into you and take your health. Crazy. Obviously, we both played on PS5, and I was... This is the first game I've played on PS5. I basically bought the PS5 to play this game. And I was so knocked back by the haptic feedback while using the assault rifle.
Yeah.
That was so disorienting for me.
Having to fight the trigger, like, wait
Yeah.
a minute, what's going on? Yeah.
It's like pushing back into my finger, and it didn't. And when even with the plasma cutter, I had to get used to the fact that there was this artificial, like, trigger weight to it.
What do you think about that?
I mean, I got used to it eventually, but I think it's relatively unnecessary.
It's unnecessary, but I keep it on just be like, it's whatever. It doesn't bother me all too much.
It doesn't bother me either, but the one thing I have noticed is that I can play on my Xbox One controller on PC for days on end, but the PlayStation One, I play that for 4 hours, and it's like, charge me!
In 4 hours if you're lucky. And
Yeah.
They just released
The Pro Elite.
controllers,
Yeah.
and that one's only like, if you're lucky, 4 hours of battery life. Because I almost bought it, and I'm like, are you serious? No. I'm not paying for 4 hours of battery life. You need to fix that. I'm not doing that.
Oh, it's $200. I mean,
Yeah.
I know, I do realize I just spent $1,100 pre-ordering the PSVR 2 and getting the PS5, but yeah, no, I'm good. Like, this controller is already more advanced than anything else I put my hands on while trying to play with games, unless you include the Steam Deck, but...
Like,
man.
I would rather suck up clicking sticks than give them $200 for, like, less than 4 hours of battery life. Come on.
Yeah, and also, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's only 2 paddles you get with the Pro. It's not 4.
Yeah, it's only 2. Because they had the attachment for the PS4 as well, like where you just click it on the bottom little attachment, you just get those extra 2 buttons. The Scuff controller gives you 2 additional paddles from that, so you have 4.
4 total, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got the Xbox Elite thing. I think it's called the Elite, the one with the 4 paddles that you can get. And, oh man, that was a game changer when I was replaying Resident Evil Village, and
To be honest with you, the Xbox controller just feels better in my hand.
I've never been a console fanboy, but there's something about the offset analog sticks that just fits me a little better. PlayStation controllers have always aggravated my carpal tunnel, and this one is the very first PlayStation controller I've played. I played Dead Space in 2 6-hour sit-downs, and my hands weren't sore at all. So this one is finally manageable for me. I think it's because there's some slightly more rounded lines on the bottom, so I can push my hands out to the side a little more, rather than hold it with my wrists all cocked at almost right angles.
Yeah, they've definitely improved the ergonomics of it.
Yeah, finally.
So, yeah.
But yeah, never been a console fanboy. In fact, if I had to choose, I would probably have gone with PlayStation on most of the console generations because they just had more exclusives. Not necessarily better, but they had more. Xbox has got fine exclusives, but
yeah, I love them both. I own them both. I love them both. It's just PlayStation. I mean, the majority of my friends play on PlayStation, so that's the kind of thing for me.
Yeah.
But I can't wait until Xbox releases what is it, Redfall and
ooh, yeah, Redfall.
Forspoken. Yeah, and not Forspoken. What is it? What is it? What's coming out? It was from the makers of the people who did fucking New Vegas.
Bethesda?
No, not Bethesda.
Oh,
Who was
Bethesda didn't do New Vegas?
Bethesda did not. Well, they oversaw it, but no.
Oh,
New
okay.
Vegas was done by somebody else.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's an RPG?
It's an RPG. Obsidian Entertainment. They also did. They recently released. Well, not recently, like a few years ago. Because they were acquired by Microsoft. And they released. It was pretty cool. It was the Outer Worlds.
The Outer World. Okay.
Yeah, and then they're Avowed. I am so sorry. I fucking butchered that. Avowed is the title that's gonna come out. Yeah.
What's Avowed? That sounds familiar.
It's like Skyrim, but super updated.
So it's fantasy? It's like...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Avowed. That sounds more like a spy thing than a fantasy thing. But yeah, Redfall. Ooh, yeah, Redfall's gonna be cool. It's Vampire Left 4 Dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's coming out Game Pass day one, I think.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Best gaming deal out there, Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and come at me.
I mean, I have both now. I got PlayStation Elite Plus exclusive. $18 a month. That's what it is to me, basically. But yeah, Game Pass and PlayStation kind of makes me a little grumpy that some of the games that I was excited to have through the premium subscription are stream only because my internet isn't good enough to make that a good experience. So like
Stadia died.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of people have internet good enough to make that a good experience.
Stadia was decent. It's just Google, you know? Google just killed it for no reason.
Oh, they axed it for no reason?
Yeah, just like what's it? There's a list of killed by Google, a bunch of different products and services that they've offered that were good. People were overwhelmingly positive about it, and it didn't make money for them, so they axed it.
Oh, so Stadia was actually good. It just didn't make them the money.
It was decent, especially with I know we're talking about Dead Space, but when it comes to I had to do my chores on Destiny and stuff like that. So it was great to log in real quick, pick up a couple things, and then log out.
Yeah. Did you do Steam Deck or what?
You could play on your tablet. You can do it.
You mean menu login stuff, not actually playing it.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Playing, there's a little bit of a lag, and I'm just okay, definitely don't play PvP, but story stuff, that's decent. That's fine.
Gotcha. I think I actually tried Stadia. What's the Amazon one? Lens. Anyway, I played Devil May Cry 6 on it or something, and I was kind of surprised. But that was back when I was on 5G with 600 megabit per second download, so it was a lot better than I have now.
Yeah. So back to this space.
Yes.
I am not mad that I actually got more out of the story now that he's a speaking protagonist.
Yeah,
I
and
appreciated that,
and with the
got
face.
the original. Yeah, they got the original voice actor to come back, and that's what they look like. So
Wait,
they did the same.
I didn't know that. That's actually
they
the really.
Yeah, they got him to come back because he voiced Isaac in 2 and 3, right? So they got him to come back to do this, and they used his face model.
That's
And
why
then
his
they
face
also
looks so
did-
different.
Yeah, they did the same thing for Nicole as well.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, I didn't know that was the original Isaac. I usually am pretty good at picking up on voice actor, like just the various points in voices, but I didn't hear that at all. Maybe it's because I didn't really play 2 and 3 as much as I played the first one, which is the one he didn't speak in. I don't think that, like, if we didn't have 2 and 3, if Dead Space came out in 2008 and then nothing happened and then they remade it now, I think people would be furious that he spoke. But
Oh yeah, probably.
given that we got those, I think that really lowered the bar? Not lowered the bar. I don't know what analogy I'm hunting for, but it opened the door to make him fully voiced, and it was really good too. I think that it's in the original, the whole voiceless and faceless up until the last cutscene. The whole point of that kind of protagonist is so you can insert yourself into their spacesuit, but it just made him seem like more of a. It was just better. It was better that he was the one saying, "Oh, that's the problem. Well, all I have to do is go here and do this. Unlock the doors for me, and I'll get there." It's not just Hammond and Daniels being like, la 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 la. Isaac, you have to go do this, and he's just like,
Trust me, I'm an engineer.
yeah, okie dokie, but not even okie dokie because that's a voice line.
So the person who played Isaac Gunnar Wright, he's in 2 movies that we spoke about in the last time we had a podcast.
Gunnar Wright sounds. I've got a cat on my keyboard, so you just tell me.
So Paranormal Activity, Next of Kin.
Okay.
Right? He's a deputy in that.
Okay.
And Underwater, he's Lee Miller.
Lee Miller in Underwater. Lee Miller. I'm not entirely sure that was a long-lived character.
Probably not.
Don't remember anyone named that.
I still need to see Underwater.
Oh man, come on. Lee Miller. Hold on, I'm gonna look on my phone. I'm just gonna look up Gunnar Wright. Oh yeah, I have no idea who this guy was in Underwater. He might have just been one of the random guys who were running down the hallway at the very beginning who die immediately. Like, I don't remember his face at all. But interesting. So he was a deputy in Next of Kin, and he was, at the very least, a shape of a human being with a voice in Underwater.
Correct.
So I thought the puzzles, the classic puzzles from the first one were there, like with the putting putting functional satellites in the right places and all that. Those were still there. Using stasis on things at the right time and kinesis and all that stuff still there, but there were a few different kinds of puzzles. And the one I thought was the coolest addition were the breaker box puzzles. So,
oh yeah, like switching over the power. Yes,
like you've got enough power for 2 things, but there are 3 places where you can put the power. And I think where that really came into its own, you obviously had the okay, you can switch over to this other door. It's a backtracky thing. There's a power node in it, whatever, and then come back and switch it back, and then go on your critical path. But the one I was just like, oh damn, that's really cool. It was player's choice. You needed to power one thing, which was mission critical, but then you had one other power point, I guess the best way to put it would be a power point to put at either oxygen or lights. So you could either have the lights on but be pressed for time because you didn't have life support in the area you were in, or you could take it slow but also only be able to see if you're aiming your gun.
I said screw the lights.
Screw the lights. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I went for... I would rather be methodical than rushed. So I'm pretty sure in that moment I put the power into the life support and just let the lights cut. And then I don't think the first one had the tentacle puzzles either, right? Where you go around and you have to shoot the weak spots of the tentacles that are wrapped around everything that clears...
That did not exist in the first game.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I liked that addition too. And I liked that some of them weren't required. Some of them weren't required.
Yeah, some of them opened up to like certain doors or like certain paths.
Right.
And then, yeah, what'd you think of Peng? What'd you think of that?
I think I was like you. I was, especially when I think in chapter 4 or 5 you go back to the hangar without gravity. I was like, okay, now's the time. Now's the time that I find Peng in the hangar. And then I saw that little purple thing floating in the corner. I was like, there's Peng. And when I grabbed it, it was a rig. And then when I got the rig, nothing happened.
Because what the hell?
I hadn't even been told yet about the master access level. So I was like, okay, I got this rig. It's not in my inventory. I can't sell it at a store. It's not in my storage. Why did I pick that up? Why was that thing purple? The most precious color in Dead Space. Why did that happen? I thought that, don't get me wrong, I was happy that I found it on my first playthrough with no, just by doing my due Dead Space diligence. I moved those 2 gravity things, Peng was in the locker, I was like, ah, and I immediately clipped it. So I do not remember where Peng is in the third one, but I remember very specifically where it is in the second one and the first one. The second one, it's a whole ass puzzle that you have to do to get to it. And in the first one, it's just floating off from the side of the hangar. So it was kind of weird to have it in a locker.
It was. I was like, huh, this doesn't... And then there's a couple posters around it and stuff like that, and you had to move.
Well, the thing is, there have been posters around there since the first couple chapters. There are posters everywhere talking about Peng.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the first one I noticed was in chapter 8. And as soon as I saw it, I just started scouring the immediate area. I swear, I probably spent 40 minutes just looking in the general vicinity of this... I want more Peng, I think it was. We want more Peng, or something like that. I was so intent on finding that. I was like, no, I want this. Peng, I want more Peng. But yeah, I'd kind of given up on it, or rather forgotten about it. And then I didn't even see the poster next to the locker until I'd already found the trophy.
Did you sell it?
Yeah.
I did not sell it. I put it in my inventory. I was like, I'm not selling this shit.
What?
I'm keeping it forever.
It's worth 30,000 credits.
I know.
Why would... Oh, man. I had power nodes to buy, son.
By that time, I was already maxed out with to the point where I could max out the rig and the... Like I said,
cutter,
I only put power nodes into those 2 things, the rig and the power cutter, the plasma cutter. Yeah.
Well, I did do a couple upgrades on the rig after the plasma cutter was. Whenever I hit a point where I didn't have the next upgrade piece, so I could go further in the plasma cutter tree, I would go to the rig. But I also spent a decent amount of nodes on the Ripper because, like I said, that was my crowd control gun.
So Peng Trivia, right? This is according to the Dead Space wiki.
Uh-huh.
So the Peng treasure has the smallest value in Dead Space 2, but the treasure is worth obtaining due to what you would find with it. Due to what you find in the room with it. 2, on very occasions, 3 power nodes can be found in the same room as the treasure. The second piece of trivia is, in several Scandinavian languages, peng can be used as another word for coin or money.
Uh-huh.
In German, peng is also considered to be the sound of a gun or firearm, or the sound of a firearm that makes when it's being fired.
Okay. So I always thought that peng was, back in the first game when I found it for the first time, and I looked up on the internet, like, what is this? And then I got an achievement for it. There's always peng. That made no sense to me. I was like, what? So I looked it up, and in my, late aughts mind, the memory that I formed was it had something to do with sex. Maybe that was just some incels on the internet that I happened to stumble upon, but I thought it had something to do with sex in Korean or something.
It is also in Urban Dictionary a very positive word used casually to show or attracted, etc. you are to something or someone. So he's paying, or this tastes paying.
So it's like when somebody walks past you in the 90s and you used to go swing.
Yeah.
Now you say
damn,
pang,
girl, like pang.
Bang. Pang.
Pang, girl.
Pang. Bang. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I don't know.
One of the Dead Space's object artists is named Wang Peng.
Okay.
WANG PENG.
Okay, Wang Peng. That probably has more to do with it than anything else.
Probably. And the last one is in Dead Space. I don't know if it's the original or it's, let's see.
We're talking about the remake.
Yeah, in 2008, they're the original.
Mm-hmm.
In the bathroom, there's graffiti that says, "I give great peng."
Okay. So
yeah,
I give great positive feeling.
Maybe peng is one of those words that, like, it's whatever you want it to
Smurf.
mean. It just, yeah,
It's
exactly.
Smurf.
Like, it just depends on your context. So, like,
I'm gonna pang my pang, so pang.
Yeah, so boosh, like
boosh.
BOOS, boosh.
Pang. Well, I appreciate the trivia. I always thought it had it was some dirty thing that I just didn't quite understand, and neither did the internet back in 2008.
Yeah.
So, I have to ask, what was your greatest jump scare?
Holy shit. I right off the bat, within like the first 30 minutes, I knew it was coming. You know, when
the elevator thing.
The elevator thing, when
Okay.
you're running, right? And like you can feel the necromorph behind you just running, and you're like, ah, God. And then like it still got me. I knew it was coming. I stuck. And I couldn't move out of the way. I couldn't do anything, and like I was just like overwhelmed. I was like, God damn it. So like, and like you just immediately turn around, and then there's a fucking necromorph like right there, just like going at you. So that got me a couple times.
So that scared the crap out of me. But I think the very first room, when you enter hydroponics, and the sprinklers come on, and
oh shit, that got me too. Yeah.
And it makes the sound of what I can only describe as 1,000 damned souls screaming in hell. For some reason, don't know why, but oh my God. I'll put the footage on at this part, but you can see the camera like swing wildly, like, what the fuck? And it wasn't even a dangerous thing. And then immediately after that room, when Cross comes on in the hologram, I was like looking in the corner, and suddenly in my surround sound headphones, somebody says, "Get out of here!" And I was like, oh no!
Yeah, I played it with headphones in the whole time as well. And the shower scenes, the shower when you're in the restroom and the bathrooms, like when the showers turn on intermittently, that got me for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And the one where I'm like, motherfucker, I can't believe that got me, is like going back to, where you're in a hallway and you have to choose which doors get powered. There's like 4 doors, right?
And everything goes black.
Everything goes black.
And then nothing happens.
And nothing happens.
Asshole.
And then I opened the 2 doors on the left, and I was like, okay, cool. It's just it's loot. Grabbing loot and then go on to the next door. Grabbing loot and go on to the next door. On the 3rd door, I wasn't even looking. I just ran in. It was one of those stupid little like alien looking, like when somebody's like, it's like the top half of the body, and they're like they go like, oh, and, like, they're just like reaching for you.
Yeah.
Those fucking things. I was like, I can't believe that fucking got me. God damn it. Like, I think I dropped my controller for that one.
Though, yeah, I don't think it was that one in particular. There are a couple of those where if your peripheral isn't completely engaged, your peripheral vision, they'll suddenly go like, blah, and they'll kind of push you back. I don't even think they do damage. I don't think they do damage, but they make your controller vibrate and they make your character flop back and they make that creepy wailing sound. So, yeah, those guys got me a couple times. I think there was one where you squeeze through, like one of those classic Tomb Raider, God of War thin places that they put there to load the next area without you really noticing. And there was a guy there, and he just
yeah
jerks.
But oh my god, the score, 10 out of 10. Jesus Christ.
Yes. Oh, the music is an absolute jerk in that game, because it'll just suddenly start ramping up when there's nothing happening. And
I know. It ramps up, and then I'm like, okay, I'm bracing myself, I'm reloading my weapons, what's going on? And then nothing happens. It's like, god damn it.
Like, backed into a corner, nothing's happening. I think the key thing that actually indicates something's happening, like the music will F with you, but Isaac's heartbeat never Fs with you. If you can hear Isaac's heartbeat, something is happening.
Yes. And that's the next thing I was going to bring up. His heartbeat, it's such a great ad. Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, play this game with headphones. Absolutely play it with headphones so you can turn it up as loud as you need to. And it's funny because it'll kick on when you've just been running for a decent amount of time. Like it'll just start up. But yeah, it starts going ham when you get backed into a corner with 3 necromorphs, and you're like, trying to fight, getting hit, trying to melee, trying to stomp, and then like after the event's done, and you can just hear it going. So tense.
I'm telling you, give me everything. Give me Extraction. Give me the mobile, the one that was pulled off like from like the
iOS
and stuff like
yeah.
That. Yeah, just do that.
There's gotta be an emulator you can download to get that.
You can. I looked up a couple of videos. I can play it on my Vita. I just haven't loaded it or done anything with it yet. But you can download an APK. And run it.
We were talking about that, and I was telling you that I had the OG Resident Evil 4 mobile port and Resident Evil Degeneration mobile port. Yeah, so good. Oh, did you beat level 6 on 0G basketball?
You're goddamn right I did.
Yes. I actually had started to give up hope that was going to be in here.
Me too. I was like, dude, they didn't do it. And I was like, god damn it. And then all of a sudden, like, I think it's in chapter 10 or 9 or whatever. It's pretty late in the game.
Because previously it was 8. I'm almost entirely sure it was in chapter 8 in the original. And I was looking everywhere, and then you go through 0G therapy at one point earlier, and I was like, this is where it was. 0G basketball was near 0G therapy. And there was no 0G basketball. I was just like, oh no. You guys, you kept the fucking ADS thing, but you didn't keep 0G basketball.
How far did you get on your first try?
5. I beat 5, and I was like 1 successful shot away from beating level 6, but I gotten goofed up by something. I don't remember what it was, but I messed up. I missed a couple shots in a row, and I just missed it by 5 freaking points.
Same. I got to level 4 first, and I'm like, let's see, how far did I get? And then I went back to the lockers. I was like, and I was like, oh, it's the full 6. Fuck that, I'm going back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then I didn't realize, but the ones whenever you're playing, when you're just tossing them into the hole, the holes, certain ones light up. That gives you more points. I didn't catch that the first time.
So that, yeah, I'm actually still confused about that, because to me it seemed like the one I had just gotten it into lit up, and then if I was able to slam it in again, it was more points. But my eyes, I only played twice because I got almost through level 6 on the first one, and I was so focused I couldn't really keep track of how many points were being added with which holes and all that stuff. But it did seem like, I feel like I did notice that if it was lit up, that meant I had just gotten it, and if I got it again, it was worth twice as many points. It was worth 10 instead of 5. So, yeah. I'm glad Zero G made it.
Yeah, same.
So, let's see. What else? I mean, obviously, a ton of new character development on everyone's side. Like, Isaac character development. More on Daniel's. I don't think the Isaac's mother being a unitologist thing was ever in the original Dead Space. I think that's stuff you figure out in 2 and 3, right?
That's stuff that came from 2, and the fact that they pulled it in there. I was
like,
oh, they'd be cool, and like with Nicole, it's just like,
and she helped people get away from the church. That was something.
It turns out his mom killed his dad and took her own life because of the fucking church. And I was like,
and then the damn church took their bodies. They wouldn't even release their bodies. Man, no wonder he hates them so much.
Yeah.
So, great character development. Not necessarily new, just because we had 2 and 3, but definitely new for the first one. And Hammond. I thought Hammond was played a lot more sympathetic than in the first one. Like, even though Hammond's not a dick in the first one, he's still kind of a dick. He's just not like a bad guy dick. But, yeah, played really good character development, and I liked how they kind of changed how his part of the story played out. Daniels didn't seem a whole lot different.
Daniels didn't seem a whole lot different. I don't think they did give a couple more lines of dialogue. For example, when she's like, "Oh, I think I saw my brother in the camera," or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't remember that being in the original movie. In the original game.
Yeah, I don't remember it either. That seemed new, but I could also be wrong because I don't remember the first one. I didn't play it. I think you played it like in preparation fairly recently, right?
Yeah, I played it within the last year or so.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I haven't played it for probably the better part of a decade at least. Not the original. I played 3 relatively recently, a couple years ago with you, actually, but
Really to finish that, yeah.
Yeah, we never finished that. Bunch of online issues. And then obviously like the side missions, Nicole's whole subplot. So in the original, you start to kind of dislike Nicole because she's basically a bad guy to you at a certain point in that game, you know? Or maybe I'm thinking of 2.
It didn't make sense to me for when there was a certain, like when you, after the rail part and like there's a gap in between you, you're like, oh, go on, I'll meet you later, blah, blah, blah. I was like, hell no. Grab something you can get a hold of, walk across the little gap here, let's stick together. I was like, why are you separating? Like, what's going on here? And that's when I started to like question it in the beginning, with my very, very first playthrough. I was like, wait a minute, something's up. Because why would she be walking away?
And the make us whole again, and she's basically aside from that very first part of the video you watch on the Kellyan, Nicole is a jerk. and she seems like a jerk. But then again, obviously, you've got no input from Isaac either. He's just this silent block of tofu in the first one. So you've only got your feelings towards the way Nicole, or the apparition of Nicole, is treating him. So you just don't really like her. She was a lot more sympathetic with the addition of the side missions and following that path that she was on before Isaac even showed up on the Ishimura. Oh, and speaking of the side missions, the hunter actually finding out.
Oh, the origins of the hunter. Yes. Yeah.
Painstakingly so, I will add. That was the hardest side mission, I would say, because it takes you back to the more higher level, nastiest areas as far as backtracking is concerned. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nicole's you basically find in tandem with the story, but I don't know, the hunter. To me, the hunter backstory felt a little more.
What did
harrowing?
The difficulty of the hunter. What did that feel like for you?
Well, not very difficult at all compared to the original.
Yeah. Only because it's that one thing where, like, it's just like Nemesis, right? Once you know their ins and outs, it's like it's not. And if since they didn't change that, I can still maneuver around.
You bust off both his legs and one of his arms, and then you stasis him, and you've got like 45 seconds.
Yes,
that's it. That's you. Both legs, one arm, boom, put him down.
The first time I ever played this, I was like, "Holy shit!"
Oh yeah, it's terrifying.
Crazy. Like after that, you're like, okay, I'll just knock your knees off and then just stasis you, and like I'll go do my thing over here.
Yeah,
you'll be right back.
My timing was a little off in the cryo fight, the cryostasis area fight. So I got a little bit more banged up than I should have, but I started New Game Plus on hard, and when I did that fight was over in 25 seconds. I literally just kited him in, both legs, one arm, stasis, then ran up there and hit the button. He was gone.
Same. I think I fucked up the first time I tried to put him in the room, and I just assumed that I did. Then I just went to go push the buttons. I was like, why is he still moving? What the hell?
Any boss that has a pattern to discern, it didn't change. Like Dead Space 2008 to Dead Space 2023. Oh, God, that's weird to say. Can't believe we're in 2023. Nothing changed. It's you do have more encounters with him, I feel. Like the one where you have to kill the tentacles in a certain order to unlock, and dude just keeps coming back while you're trying to figure out how to like blow the tentacles off of the elevator, I think. Something like that. That whole set piece was new, as far as I remember.
I think so. It felt new to me.
And that's why it was so stressful, because I was like, uh-oh. I mean, yeah, I can blow off both of his legs and one of his arms and stasis him, but what am I supposed to do then?
What about what was it? The bull that charged him. What was it? I forget what it was called sometimes.
It's like the Mauler or the Brute or something like that.
The Brute, there it is.
Is it Brute? Okay.
Yeah.
Those guys were a little different.
For me, they reacted the same. I was like immediately just sit, run around, and then just
I was thrown off by the location of their weak points. The weak points weren't quite.
They weren't 1-to-1 for sure, but like they were still glowing a little bit. And apparently, there's a voice line. There's a voice log that with the first one, because I was like, oh, it's gonna die super quick. It's whatever. I'm gonna kill it hell fast. Mm-hmm. But apparently, if you run around the elevator a couple times, you get a voice dialogue from Hammond telling you to shoot it in its back.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And there's a bunch of missable like logs that like you have to let certain things play out for you to get these voice logs.
Really? In the first one or the remake too?
In the remake.
Oh, really? Yeah. I know. I mean, I have to assume that the voice line you get while speaking to Nicole when recalling the Kellion, or not the Kellion, the shuttle, in like chapter 11. You get a, huh?
Is it called the Valor? Valor? Is it Valor?
No, the Valor was the military ship, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the shuttle that you take down to Aegis 7 at the end.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah,
The little.
it's just, I think it was just called the shuttle. I don't think that one had a name. But you get a brief voice line, something about Isaac, like, I saw the, again, I can put it on as a clip, because I'm not going to try and quote it because I have a clip.
There you are.
Thank God you're here. The ship's coming apart. I saw what you've been through. Your investigation, Mercer. What happened with us?
But he says something about the side mission that you completed, following her story while, like, in Isaac's absence. And when you finally torch the hunter, you also get a single line, something like "Rest in peace, Miller," or "Your suffering's over," or whatever. I don't remember what the guy's name was, but he says something to the effect of, now you can, now your pain is over, guy who got turned into a hunter. So I have to assume those voice lines wouldn't be there if you didn't complete the side quests.
I want to take some time to, like, just watch them all captured and read all the text, because, again, I was like, I was pretty familiar with the backstory of it, and, like, I love the movie, the animated movie just gave you a bunch of backstory and comic books and stuff like that. So I already knew enough for, like, I don't have to read this right now, but I want to go back and read all of it.
So I know I got the trophy for Legend Teller, which is 150 logs. Whether that is all of them, I don't know. I have to assume that's all of them, but then again, I somehow missed one
getting
weapon
all
upgrade.
Logs? Is there a completionist to getting all? No, there's not a completionist. So sorry, there isn't a trophy or an achievement for getting all of the logs, but there is one for getting 150, and, like, you and I both got that.
Right.
But there are certain ones that you get on New Game Plus.
Are there different logs on New Game Plus 2?
There's just additional ones, because when I was going through, when I would be, like, at 99% of a certain level, I'm like, okay, I would look at the logs. I was like, why am I missing? What am I missing? And I checked a couple of videos, and it's like, oh, it says missing because, or you haven't found it yet because that's in New Game Plus.
Okay, I didn't know that.
How far are you in New Game Plus?
Oh man, I'm pretty far. I think chapter 9.
Okay. So you've been picking up the markers, right?
I have been picking up the markers.
Yes. So there is an alternate ending with those markers.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
I already saw it. I was like, I can't wait. I need to see it.
When I was picking up the markers, I couldn't remember whether I had, because there's 12 markers. There's 12 chapters and 12 markers. There's one in every chapter. And I could not remember because they're not stored anywhere. They're not in your inventory. They're not counted anywhere. It's just up to you to kind of keep track. And I was like, I can't remember if I missed one. And also, I was doing Critical Path because I'm doing New Game Plus on hard. So I just wanted to kind of get the feel for how much damage output and just kind of start with a leg up, but still on hard mode. And I'd already done all the side quests and all the access levels and all that stuff. So I was just trying to blaze through. I was like, oh, I found a lot, but have I found all of them? I don't know. And so I also looked up the alternate ending just in case I wasn't finding all of them.
It gives you the like within the rig, like if you go to the menu, you go to the logs or whatever, it gives you all of them listed there, and it tells you which ones you've missed.
Does it?
Yes.
Ooh.
It doesn't tell you. There is no achievement associated with collect them all.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I said earlier, it's just get a certain amount, and there is no achievement associated with collecting all the markers. But I do think that you need to collect all 12 of them to get the secret ending.
You do. You do absolutely have to get all 12 of them for the secret ending.
Okay.
And it's absolutely fitting that that's a New Game Plus secret ending, because that it's
I like it.
non-canon
I like it.
at all.
Yeah.
Funny
I enjoyed
though.
it. I was like, let's go.
Pretty
Let's just
funny
be a
though.
toxic couple.
Yeah. Oh my god. So yeah, that was actually, I think that was the last thing that I was gonna bring up, was the differences on New Game Plus.
Yeah, I'm gonna do New Game Plus on easy just so I can just get everything, mob everything. I'm gonna, cause I kind of messed up, or like I didn't use the additional weapons enough to kill certain enemies, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create 2 saves, so I don't have to go create a whole new playthrough for it. I'm gonna create a save, and then with every weapon, I'm just gonna go in and just kill.
Yeah.
Go back to that save, kill with that other weapon, and then just kind of just like scum the save until like, because I want to essentially just make it so like I want to get the plasma cutter only achievement.
Oh yeah, I gotta do my 1 gun achievement.
Yeah.
I'll do that on easy. I don't care. I'll New Game Plus it and set it to easy, and just I don't give a fuck. See, my rationale for doing New Game Plus on hard was so I don't lose the survival drive that I had on the first run. So basically, it's kind of funny. The starting New Game Plus on hard, the difficulty, as opposed to starting like medium, not New Game Plus, is 100% inverted. So New Game Plus, or sorry, you start at medium, you get your plasma cutter, it does shit damage. Every enemy is a threat. Your rig sucks. You've got nothing. It's frantic. It's Resident Evil 4 basically. You know, you start out with this dinky ass pistol, and you're thrown into the toughest situation imaginable right off the bat, and the only way to go is up as far as both skill and equipment. And so slowly, as you're going through and you're upgrading your stuff, that difficulty curve levels out, and it's still going up a little bit, but you know, it's fine. Starting New Game Plus on hard, yeah, the enemies take a little more punishment, but you've got a fully upgraded arsenal and fully upgraded rig. So even when they hit you, it doesn't really mean a whole lot. They hit you for more, and you have to hit them for more. But then, as the little guys come out, the little guys, you know, the swarmers, they're such a pain in the ass. And then,
especially if you don't like to use a flamethrower, which I don't.
I literally never fired it once. Not once.
Yeah.
I just used the ripper. I'd pop out a ripper blade and aim it at the floor and just swing it around.
That's actually a good
So
idea.
that was my crowd control. The flamethrower can do one. I don't care. I don't like it.
I like how you find it. It's cool.
Oh,
I just don't like to use it.
You know, I really appreciated the fact that you find your weapons rather than just collect schematics for them, or later can buy them from the store if you missed the schematic, which I think is the way the old ones did. Like when you see that, it wasn't a soldier, just Ishimura crew, maybe security crew, but it was that, you know, classic white suit with the blackish shoulder pads kind of thing, and she's got the assault rifle and she dies in front of you, and then I was like, man, I wish I could just pick that up. Lo and behold, I could. I was like, oh, sweet. That's such a more natural way to deal with weaponry. Like, why on earth would you, just being an engineer, suddenly be able to buy an assault rifle from a store?
All you need is duct tape, though. Just, you know.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Duct tape and ripper blades, assault rifle.
Yep.
Man, good game. Very good game.
Did you try to decipher any of the unitologist like language stuff? Because I got a couple screenshots of this, but they tell you the alphabet of it, right? It's like it's printed in blood on a wall, where like squiggly line means A, blah 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 means B, C, D, E, F, G, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever the hell.
What?
So yeah, so throughout the game, you'll go and you see these like everything's like it's painted in blood on the wall, right? It's these weird like ciphers or glyphs or whatever. You can decipher that because they give you the alphabet.
The
for
key, yeah.
Key. There you go. Thank you.
Or cipher, or whatever you want to call it. Good game. 10 out of 10. Like I mean, until this, Resident Evil 2 was it 2019? Resident Evil 2 remake. That was the epitome of remake prowess.
That
And
was the gold standard.
yeah. And I don't think this one surpassed it, but it definitely met it.
It definitely, for sure, at the very least, met it. It's like it's on the same level.
Yeah. Very much so. I'm not even mad that on PS5 it costs $70 instead of 60. Very pretty.
I regret not buying the collector's edition for this. Because I honestly did not take this remake seriously. I was like, it's EA. Anything EA does,
It's money. Yeah.
it's money. Yeah, they're cash grabbing. So I'm like, whatever. I'm not gonna contribute to it. I'll just buy the game and that's fine. But I'm like, oh my god, I wish I would have had the foresight to like, yes, buy the collector's edition.
Well, what was in it? What's special about it?
The engineer's helmet. And the little marker.
Wearable?
I don't know, but that's like it takes me back to like when I ordered the collector's edition for Halo 3, right?
Well,
I was
that's
like,
not wearable. That's too small,
is it
right?
wearable? No, it's not wearable. Long story short, it's not wearable.
Way too small.
But I did manage to put it on my cat. She was not happy about it, but you know, it's somebody had to wear it.
Have you seen the I think it was the 2016 Doom Collector's Edition? That one is wearable, and it lights up and makes noise. Wait, no, it doesn't make noise. It just lights up. But it's wearable, and it's adjustable, and it's awesome. Yeah, that's how you do helmets. Don't give me the 3/4 bullshit.
And now it's on like eBay for $500. Fuck you.
Oh wow. I'm happy with just the game. I don't want no possibly too small helmet to deal with.
Because I bought the collector's edition for part 2, and like I had the little
the 3/4 plasma cutter.
Yeah, and it still works. Like I'll light it up. I was like, this is ahead of its time.
I don't think mine ever actually worked.
No,
I got it and it didn't.
You had to put batteries. It's battery powered, so I don't know if your batteries might have been dead or.
Oh, I would have
loaded.
imagined it came with them. But maybe they were already dead.
So, my next question: Callisto Protocol.
Oh, like you want to compare?
Well, since I mean I haven't played Callisto Protocol because I got your take from it. I'm like, oh, I can wait until this goes on sale. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can definitely wait.
But,
so
like
yeah,
Game Pass or like PlayStation Plus, like it's gonna happen eventually.
Callisto Protocol was swimming in Dead Space's pool, and Dead Space blew it out of the water into the next county. That's long story short.
The spiritual successor. This is what we wanted to do. You know, like you should have stuck to the original.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I played on PC. I don't know if the console release was any better, but the PC release was broken. It was damn near unplayable in a lot of different ways. Yeah, to be fair, it has been patched, and I've actually gone back to it on my Steam Deck, and I've plinked away at it on the Steam Deck, and it's now optimized enough to even run there. So that's relatively impressive. So good on you for fixing it. But it's like it's already left such a bad taste as a first impression that I'm in no way
itching to go back. And
right.
There are other things that you could be playing right now.
Oh, yeah, and upcoming too. Oh, so many big things coming up. Like I said, I think maybe I haven't played it in a couple weeks because I've been doing a lot more recording of games lately. When I was going back to it every couple of days on the Steam Deck, I was like putting on the latest Family Guy or whatever and just kind of mindlessly chugging along the story. It was better, but it's like this weird brawler. Like I never felt tense while playing Callisto Protocol.
That's the consensus I got from all the videos or the reviews that I've watched. It's like it's not a bad game. It's just not a very good game.
No, it's not.
And like the fact that you have to like dodge, swing, brawler style, like puts you right up against like every enemy, so it makes you less scared.
Yeah, and they take
over.
turns.
Yeah, and over time, it just makes you desensitized to like the fear of yeah.
And it's definitely, it didn't start well because the tutorial was extraordinarily misleading on how to do the dodges. So I mean, I streamed it, and I did it. It was the worst idea ever to try and do it live because I was on the first, and I mean the first proper enemy for probably a half hour or more, because the tutorial absolutely made it seem like you are supposed to dodge in the direction of the limb that's swinging at you. The guy's coming in with the right arm, it says dodge toward the arm, like whatever that's left technically, but they're right. And then they swing with the left arm, you dodge right, which is their left. And it 100%. If you watch that tutorial back, I don't think there's anyone on Earth who played that game who didn't think that you're supposed to match your dodges with the actual attack direction.
Yeah, and yeah, apparently you just push any button. That means you
don't
push
even,
the direction, the button. Like you
can just hold it. You can just hold it the whole time.
Jesus Christ.
You can see them coming at you. Hold left on the stick for as long as you want, as long as you don't sidewalk into a wall, as long as you don't strafe into a wall. When they swing at you, you'll dodge it. There is luckily a setting that is like automatic dodge or something, but even I was just like, well, that literally takes the game out of the game. That's the only thing that this game has. So dodge, swing, shoot. If the tentacles pop out of their chests, try and shoot it before they get all hench. Free DLC would definitely change my opinion on it a little bit. Free.
Well, they have to pay for Josh Duhamel sometime. So.
Man, I didn't recognize him without hair. Well, I mean, do you have any final thoughts?
I recommend it. I recommend it. As a survival horror fan, I recommend it. As a Dead Space fan, I recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be free-ish on EA on their subscription.
Oh,
platform.
if you've got Ultimate Game Pass, yeah, maybe. Eventually, very long eventually. Like
eventually, yeah.
They got to make their money right now.
They got to make their money, yeah. But like, I recommend it. Like, play it. This is, I wanted to make sure to get this one in before the next Destiny expansion, because I'm just gonna disappear whenever that comes out.
Oh yeah, you're worried about Destiny. I'm worried about Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yes. Shit. That's in March, right?
March 24th, I think. Yeah, March 24th or 25th.
Because Destiny 2 Lightfall.
What about Destiny 2 Dark Rise?
The release date. February 28th. Yeah, so next week. About 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so okay, there should be enough time from that.
You'll have about a month to bust all your nuts in Destiny.
Yeah.
And all your money.
For whoever's listening, I will make it a point to mention Destiny every single time I'm on here, by the way.
You make it a point to mention it every time we're just talking in general, so I can't imagine you'd make it any different here. All right, well, thanks for chatting Dead Space and just a whole lot of other stuff.
Anytime.